Hello and welcome to the GI Huddle. Today's interview is sponsored by Altenar. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello, viewers, and welcome to the latest GI Huddle. Today I'm with Gonzalo Merino of Apuesta Total. Gonzalo, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
It's our pleasure. I hope I've pronounced the brand correctly. To start off, I think it'd be great if you could tell us a little bit about your career in gaming so far and your role with Apuesta as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been in the industry for 4 years, so I'm a relatively newcomer.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined Apuesta Total to start the product department 4 years ago. I spent 2 years there. There we oversaw all of our products and innovations, regardless of the sales channel. We have a strong retail position and a strong website. So we were in charge of the sportsbook, the virtual sports vertical, the online casino, bingo, pool betting, and other non-gaming related products such as transactional banking stuff or snacks or masks while we were on the pandemic and so on. Then I assumed the role of digital director, which is my current role, in which I'm in charge of the digital business. What we see there is the deposits, players, wagers, GGR, retention, fraud, and so on.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned a few verticals there. Obviously, a focus on the digital business in your current role. With the different verticals and in the different markets, how would you describe Apuesta Total's position within the marketplace?
Okay, so we have a strong position, right? Depending on which metric you see, we have either the first spot or one of the top spots there, right? So if you see retail, we might have a strong position in sportsbooks and virtual games. If you see our website, you will see a strong position in casino, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see live casino, RNG, it will depend. But overall, we have a really strong position in overall. I think that's because of our very strong player orientation, which shows up in the long term.
Mm-hmm. If you were to talk about the brand overall and the split of retail and online, is it online first brand, or is kind of retail the main driver?
Yeah, so we used to be a retail first brand up till 2020 or 2021, in which our website started growing, as every digital business did at that point.
Yeah.
Now we might be 50-50.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's quite a lot of online growth in a shorter space of time. But again, as you say, that kind of mirrors the global situation, and not just in gambling, but I suppose especially in gambling, as we saw a lot of online growth in the pandemic. I really wanted to ask you about the brand name, because so Apuesta in Spanish means bet. So if you say Apuesta for short, it seems to me that you've got quite a strong position just in the name alone.
Yeah, the name is quite strong. I mean, total is also what it means in English, right? It's total bet. It's quite a strong name. It says very boldly what we do, and it's very easy to remember. It's actually a friendly name, Apuesta Total, and it's in Spanish, so it's closer than just naming us, I don't know, Apuesta Total Bet or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And a conversation we've been having recently, just in our office, is obviously English is the most spoken language, but the Spanish, I think, is projected to be kind of in the United States to become the most spoken language with time anyway. So I guess any Spanish brand names, it's a good time.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, even though people here know what bet means, because it's prevalent in our competitors, but their name is closer, right?
Yeah.
It's in their language.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we were to talk geographically, what are your kind of strongest key markets at the moment? Where do you kind of see GGR coming from?
Yeah, so we're Peru focused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we only target Peruvian customers. We have plans on going abroad. We are learning how other geographies work, client-wise, regulatory-wise, all the. I mean, we don't want to just open a website in another country and see how it works. We want to bring our service level, right? So we're strong here because, as I told you a while ago, we're very consumer oriented, very player oriented. So we want to replicate that wherever we go. So right now, yeah, the strongest market is Peru because it's the only one.
Sure, easy answer really there. Could you talk us through kind of Peru? What are the characteristics of the market? What is it like at the moment in terms of, I guess, from a sports betting perspective, but maybe casino as well.
Yeah, well, so it's quite competitive because it's even though it's still unregulated, it's a legal business. So anyone can come open a website, open a shop, and whatever, right? They just need to comply with pay their taxes and I don't know, consumer protection agencies, and that's it. So players are exposed to a lot of advertising from, I don't know, 30, 40 companies at the same time. Some are stronger than others, of course. Welcome bonus, so acquisition is very competitive here.
Yeah.
Also, since we are an underbanked country, there's a lot of anonymous betting. So we have clients that, even though we're trying to try to take them into our website, because they don't want to, because they are comfortable with anonymous betting. Right now, it's very cash focused on in the retail part. So yeah, and that's in sports betting. People bet with their heart a lot.
Yeah.
So we saw that, of course, with the latest FIFA World Cup qualifiers. I mean, everyone wanted Peru to qualify, so all the bets went to Peru. So people kind of they bet with their heart, right? But bettors are getting more sophisticated by the day. So they are starting to get to know more markets, more leagues. We see, for example, that leagues that weren't important at all a couple years ago, they might be in the top 5 competitions during a given weekend. For example, Chilean league, Colombian league, which weren't strong, they now are consistently on top, just because they're in offer now. In terms of casino, I think there's still some way to go there, but it's growing anyway.
You mentioned I guess the betting with the heart, the emotional betting. I think that's something that's been described of other kind of LATAM markets, like, for example, Brazil, Argentina. And I think you mentioned the World Cup. It's a great segue because it would be remiss of us not to discuss the World Cup so close to the big tournament. Brazil favorites, incidentally, with bookmakers. But what are your expectations ahead of the World Cup? Because every time there's a major tournament, naturally, there's a lot of excitement. Betting operators usually come out and say that was the biggest tournament yet. But this year is a little different, obviously, because it's a winter World Cup and it's mid Premier League season and that kind of thing for the big European leagues. So what are your expectations at Apuesta?
Yeah, so of course, increasing wagers and engagement. I mean, players will have more. Players will have more matches to follow one after the other, right? Opposed to regular season in which you only have weekends, for example, and occasionally during weekdays. Now we'll have in group stage every day. You will have something that will be in all the papers all around the world. All the TV channels will be talking about this. So of course, increased wagers and engagement. We also see. Every hesitant player, every potential player, or everyone that was hesitant to get involved in the category, they will bet. If they don't bet now, it's very difficult for them to. I mean, this is an opportunity to get new clients or the ones that were not sure to do some sport betting. So we see a lot of that. People, even if it's out of fear of missing out, we see people betting for the first time.
Yeah. That leads me quite well onto the next question I was going to ask, because you mentioned acquisition, you mentioned the competitive nature in Peru, the kind of 30, 40 different brands. Obviously, as you say, the World Cup major tournaments, an important time traditionally for new customers, for customer acquisition. So how are you guys planning to stand out? Are there any specific campaigns, promotions you're running that you might not have if it was just kind of a normal Premier League season? Or sorry, I keep mentioning the Premier League, but the major leagues around the world.
Yeah. So, well, luckily, fortunately, we have a strong position already and big brand awareness. We just launched our TV advertisement campaign 10 days ago, might be, with a former World Cup star and a player from Uruguay, focused on the World Cup. Apart from that, we are about to launch some very competitive tactical initiatives to help us grow as much as we can. I mean, this, as we say, it's like the tide is rising, and it rises for all. So everyone will grow, right? Yeah. Everyone. I mean, clients will just try to get as much free bonuses as they can as a register bonus. So whoever comes with us, we know that they will also open accounts with our competitors, right? Yeah. So the real challenge comes after the World Cup. Yeah. Who gets to keep those players?
Yeah, exactly. Retention. Yeah. And in terms of, you mentioned obviously that the big focus on player engagement and kind of retention earlier. How confident are you, and how are you looking to keep those players, whereas competitors might not do so well in that area?
Yeah, well, we have a strong CRM department. We have some tools that we are consolidating internally, and we'll just we'll do more intensely what we already do.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. So
yeah,
a winning formula type thing.
Yeah, there's one thing about this World Cup that's a challenge for operators in our time zone, which is matches will be starting in our time zone 5 a.m. in the morning, and the last match will be played at 1 p.m. So all the afternoon, these people won't have anything to bet on football-wise, right? So the challenge is not only after the World Cup, but after the football day ends.
Yeah. Well, an interesting challenge, as you say, that quite unique to this World Cup. I mean, that challenge, without giving maybe too many secrets away, but how are you kind of looking to tackle that? What kind of things would Apuesta be doing?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what we did before. In a previous major tournament. We had some daily activities going online, in which very frequently, after the matches ended, we started doing stuff for our clients everywhere. So we have plans to activate our brand very frequently after the matches and during the World Cup.
Obviously, in delivering to players the best service, as you've mentioned a couple of times, partners are important, and especially the sportsbook supplier. Wanted to ask about your partnership with Altenar, and actually maybe throw in how they might be able to help for a major tournament like they said, a World Cup.
Yeah, well, we've been working for them for the last 4 months, maybe. So I mean, they have a world-class product, and it's improving continuously, right? But not only product, we appreciate their flexibility and their client focus, right? We have formal and informal conversation with them very frequently about what we need, what we think we need, what they are trying to bring into the product or their service, because it's not only the product, it's also the trading aspect or the reporting aspect that, I mean, if we have better reports, we can manage better our commercial aspect. And that's something that not everyone sees from the outside. They see just the UX, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So they listen a lot. They try, and what I like is that they not only listen and act or execute, but they ask and they try to understand why we're asking for stuff or why stuff is important for us, and we end up co-creating a different solution that's better than what we thought initially. So we're very happy with them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, no. I can see the co-creation there, rather than perhaps one company dictating to the other. And I guess that's a criticism of perhaps some maybe legacy suppliers where they have one system for everyone and they can't tweak it. Always good to hear in the industry about kind of flexibility when it comes to sports books and software. With that partnership in mind and with everything that you've talked about with the World Cup, a final area I wanted to talk to you about is maybe goals moving forward in 2023. And actually, you did mention as well earlier, perhaps some markets you didn't mention which, but if you're looking to expand into any, are there any on the horizon outside of Peru?
Yeah, I mean, opening other operations is always there, right? But as I told you, we need the right conditions.
Yeah.
And we know that we still have some room to grow here. So we don't want to spread our resources too thin, trying to go after some other opportunities and lose what we still have to grow or consolidate in the local market, right? So anyway, for the next year, we plan to continue growing on shops, players, wagers, deposits, products. Internally, we will we will become a more complex company to be able to serve better our clients. Yep.
Well, thanks for your answers today so far and your time, and best of luck with everything you're trying to achieve at Apuesta Total. One last question I'll ask you is, who do you think will win the World Cup?
Argentina.
Argentina, interesting. I've been hearing a few Argentina picks recently. I think I'm going to go with Brazil, even though no chance for England, I don't think. But although I hope I'm wrong. But Argentina, yeah, a lot of people saying Messi, maybe one last big tournament on the big stage.
I think it's Messi's time now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, can't wait to find out. Thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, like I say, good luck with the tournament and the rest of 2022 as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim.